All right, well, this is 2.3, Properties of Functions, Part 2, and on your worksheet, on your handout, the objectives are listed. Number 1, we're going to be determining even or odd functions from a graph. Number 2, we're going to be identifying even and odd functions from an equation. And number 3, find the average rate of change of a function. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to determine even and odd functions from a graph. Testing it algebraically first. All right, if we have an even function, it would look something like this, algebraically speaking. If you put the opposite value of x in, right? If you put a f of negative x, right? You put a negative x into the function, and you get the original function. That is considered an even function. Now, if you do the same thing, if you put in a negative x into the function, but it negates the original function. So if f of negative x equals the opposite of the original function, negative f of x, then you've got what they call an odd function. Now, graphically speaking, let's investigate a little bit what this looks like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a nice little x and y axis here. And I'm going to just kind of freehand sketch our average parabola, something like that. All right, an even function is where your graph is actually, it looks like it reflects over the y-axis. In other words, it has y-axis symmetry. All right, so you'll have an even function if f of negative x equals the original f of x, and if your graph has y-axis symmetry. Now, you're going to have an odd function if f of negative x equals negative f of x, but this time, all right, this time I'm going to get my x and y axes kind of like right in the middle. And if our graph kind of looks like the x cubed function, something like this. In fact, this has origin symmetry. That's the nature of that graph. So capping the odd function personality, all right, if f of negative x equals negative f of x, and graphically speaking, it has origin symmetry, then you got an odd function. All right, let's move on to the next portion of this worksheet.